Welcome back to Living the Italian Dream with Mike. Alongside me, I have a very special guest because she didn't go to school today because she had a physical, my daughter Gabriella. And I thought involving my daughter in this, especially giving some feedback on what it's like to get acclimated to Italy as a child. When we moved here, I think you were 8?
Yeah, I was 8.
All right, she was about 8 years old. Now she's 14. So she could really give you sort of an in-depth of what it's like to be a kid going through such a huge change of moving to another country, learning a new language, being social, going to school, doing sport, etc. Gab, what would you say was the most difficult thing about moving from New York to Italy?
Definitely learning the language.
Okay, and why was that so difficult? And how did you learn language?
Well, I was lucky enough to have a friend who spoke English in my class, and that helped a lot because he would teach me words that maybe my teachers wouldn't teach me.
Mm-hmm. So other than that, did any other children in your class speak a lot of English?
No.
No. So how was the communication?
I only had one friend in my class, and I was actually happy with that.
What was the biggest differences from your elementary school in America versus your elementary school here?
It would have to be that the food was very different.
In what way? In what way?
It was better.
Public schools in Italy, well, at least in Bologna, get food catered in from a catering service. So everything is made fresh every day. There's no frozen, deep fried kind of stuff. Describe a lunch, how you get it and what it consists of.
They would serve us normal pasta with tomato sauce.
And that would be your...
Primo.
Okay.
And for secondo, there would be some sort of meat or fish with a vegetable salad or, vegetables or salad.
Okay. And for dessert?
We wouldn't have dessert.
Well, what did you get? Did you get a piece of fruit?
We got fruit for snack, and also they gave us a basket of bread. And leftover bread we would take home.
Mm-hmm.
Every hour, depends on what type of lessons you have a day, we would switch teacher from religion to Italian to math.
So you would go to another class?
No, we would stay in the same class.
Oh, the teacher would come into your class?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, a similar way than the elementary schools are set up in America. You have one teacher. The teacher that you have in elementary school or in middle school, you have the entire duration that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Not just 1 year.
Yeah.
We're talking about 5 years, or is it 6 years elementary?
5 years.
5 years. So you'll have the same teachers for 5 years. And after that 5th year, the teacher goes back to the first year. So there's no changing teachers every year. Middle school for anybody is probably the most difficult time for a child, whether you're a boy, whether you're a girl. And then increase that by like 100-fold. Not only did we move into a new country and Gabriella had to learn a new language, but then we moved again away from Bologna, and now she had to meet a whole new set of friends where her accent was obvious. And, just like I think anybody, it happened to me too as well, you try to fit in as best as possible, and you try to meet true friends. And I think after some time with Little Martina...
After a
year, Little Martina, Kit Kat, these are all my nicknames for her friends, Julia. It's like they have like a nice core group that are really tight, close. Rafaela, they see each other in the street and they all run up to each other because now, after middle school, and this is Gabriella's first year in high school, which is called Liceo.
Superiore.
Okay.
Liceo is a school where you have to go to university afterwards because there are different types of schools. There's the Liceo, there's the Professionale, and there's the ITIS. ITIS is a technological school where you learn all about computers and how they work and what they're made of. And then a professionale, I go to that school. There are two different types. There's a professionale that is normal, which you do your standard subjects, nothing special, and a professionale alberghiero, which is a cooking school where you do your normal subjects, but you also have included cooking subjects. Like I have cooking, I learn how to run a hotel, and I also learn how a bar works.
So the bar you're talking about, a cafe, or but you also learn how to run a discoteca.
Not run it, but like serve behind the bar, obviously.
Okay.
But that's after your third year when you choose what you want to do. If you want to become a pastry chef, a normal chef, or a person behind a bar, making coffees or making drinks.
Okay, wow. So did you just decide to go to this school and you walked in, or did you have to apply for the school?
I have to apply for the school because it is away from home, and based on certain types of points you get, they choose.
So her points consisted of what? Your grades in school, in her middle school.
Mm-hmm. And also the distance from home.
Okay, so by bus and by regular bus, because in Italy there aren't really many school buses, traditional like American yellow buses. Gabby takes a public transportation. She transfers in one other town, and then from that town she takes another one. How long does it take you to get to school?
About an hour, including also the waiting.
Okay, so about an hour, including the transfer, waiting for the other bus to come. And we applied for a year pass for school, and I think we paid a discounted price for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So your first year in high school, and everybody seems to scatter. It's almost like graduating high school in America, and everybody scatters to go to university. Here, after middle school, everybody scatters to high schools around the area. Again, you could go to a high school an hour away, like Gabriella. You could stay in town. There's three types of high schools. What are they?
The technological school,
Mm-hmm.
ITIS. There is human sciences, and there's also a normal scientific school.
All right. So, and these schools are literally like smushed together.
Yeah.
They're in the same exact spot. So you could stay here, or you could take a train into Bologna and go to a different high school in Bologna. We get kids all over the place. Like, for example, 2, 3, 4 towns over, their kids might come to our town to go to high school. Or they might go to Bologna to go to a special. Describe how your first year of high school is going.
It's actually going really good. I love this school just because, yes, I love the extra stuff that comes with it, but also I love the professors that I've been given because they know how to explain subjects, which here you may catch a professor that doesn't know how to explain, and you have to learn the subject on your own, or you can find a professor that can explain, can give you the material that you need, and if you need help, they will help you.
So what kind of classes do you have?
I have geography for 1 year, thank gosh. I have nutrition, I have physics and natural sciences, and math, Italian, Spanish, and English.
Wow.
And I think I have
Okay.
more, but I don't
And what about law?
I also have law.
Yeah, we know this because we go through this
Economy
every
and law.
economy and law. We do a lot of studying in this. So again, how's the high school set up? Is it the same way as it is in middle school and elementary, where the teachers come to you,
Yes.
or it's the same way?
Yes.
So there's no lockers like in America.
You
There's
stay in one class,
Mhm.
the class that's assigned to you.
and that's in every high school
Yes.
in Italy.
Yes.
Okay. What helped you learn the language so fast?
My teachers, and also the fact that I had a friend that spoke English and Italian.
Okay, and basically, we call this, full immersion. So basically, she had no choice. He either communicate with English, which she only had one friend, or communicate in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
So we fully immersed all the kids into it. But everybody speaks good English, great English, and great Italian, basically, except for the littles.
And you.
Yeah, shut up. Do you think there's anything else? Sport! Sport! Oh my gosh! How do we forget about sport? Because every one of my kids does sport. So, what sports do they offer at your high school?
My high school, during gym, we have 2 hours
No, I mean like extra activity sport.
ping pong.
No, not gym or ping pong. I'm talking like, what sport do you do?
No, I do gymnastics and box.
Okay, so Gabby just started box yesterday because we have a local boxing gym here that my youngest son, Giuseppe, goes to. But Gabriella has also been doing gymnastics for 4 years now?
3.
3 years. So you do gymnastics for your school?
No.
Okay. Why? Because no schools in Italy, high school, university, elementary, middle, offer sport. Sport is separate. It's separated. They don't associate sport with school at all. So there is no, like my school, Mayapack Indians. It doesn't exist. Schools here are typically named, like what's the name of the elementary school?
I don't know.
Me neither. What's the name of your high school?
Filipante.
Filipante.
They do offer a sport at Filipante. It's frisbee, and they also do athletics.
What's athletics?
It's where you saltelungo, you know, that sand pit, and you have to.
Okay, so like track and field
Yeah,
type of stuff.
but that's about.
But there's
all
no
they
soccer, there's no football, there's no American football, basketball, any of that in schools. All of your sports are done outside of school at a specific, what they call society. But none of it is associated with school. It's paid for by you, and you have to pay the society every year. And you have to get, like Gabby got today, a physical, where they do the electrodes, and I think they do that every 2 years?
No, every year.
Every year. So they do that stress test. I think today was step-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, her favorite.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? I think homework, no? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, well tell us a little bit about homework.
Okay. So homework. At my school, they don't give a lot of written homework, but they give to study. So like you probably will have a test after you're done studying 2 units. You do a test. They grade you here by numbers in middle school from 4 to 10, in high school from 3 to 10. And in Liceo, which is a way harder school, that's natural sciences, scientific, linguistic, and other different types of schools, they give more homework and a lot more to study. And you just have to, in that case, if you do a sport, you would have to cut your sport back because you have to also study. One of my friends, she doesn't do sport at all because she has a lot to study. And in middle school, they say that, in elementary school, they say that you have to study a whole lot in middle school. It's going to be super hard. They're not right and they're not wrong, because there is more to study, but it's not that hard.
Okay, and what kind of exams do you have throughout elementary, middle, and high school?
Okay, in elementary school, you don't have exams. Though at the end of your 3rd year of middle school, you have the exam in order to move on to high school.
If you don't pass that exam?
You become immediately sent back.
And you stay in middle school?
Yes.
She's had one kid in her class that's been left back?
No.
In high school?
Oh, and I have more than one. I have 2 kids in my class that have been left back 3 times. And
so in other words, she goes to school in her class, 14 years old, there's a 17-year-old in her class.
17-year-olds.
2 17-year-olds in
and
her
about
class.
2, 3 16-year-olds and 2 15-year-olds. 2, 3 15-year-olds.
Yeah. So it's very common here to get left back. But the important thing that we went through last year was to get Gabby to pass that. I mean, you talk about studying night and
Yes.
day. my wife and Gabriella, I mean, just, it was so important because without passing that, she couldn't have moved on to the school that she wanted to go to.
Yes.
And that's what's great about Italy here, is that there's so many different choices, and you can go with your child's strength and they'll do nothing but succeed. They'll love it. She's always had a passion for cooking, and this is what she does. And she's become a 10 times better cook in the first 6 months of school, and obviously I benefit from it. But I think we've covered everything here. Thank you for doing this with your father. I appreciate it. I think that's it. So until later, bye, and have a great week. Don't forget to visit thegreenhouseway.com.